Hi, welcome to the Mind Box. I would like to talk about the feelings we're not so familiar with, the ones we struggle to understand and deal. Using own experiences and giving some solutions, we'll try to live life better. Welcome to the Mind Box. In today's very first episode, we're going to talk about loneliness. Have you ever heard about loneliness? I guess so. Have you ever felt it? Guess I did, and I still do. I felt it several times on my short life. But have you ever thought about what loneliness means? I do. Well, I have the definition right here. It says, the state of being alone in solitary isolation, a disposition towards being alone, and sadness resulting from being forsaken or abandoned. But when you hear the word loneliness, what's the first thing that comes up your mind? So now, think for a second. What's the first thing that comes up your mind when you hear the word loneliness? To me, the word means sadness. It represents an empty void that no one wants to be in. I really don't want to be in that void, if you ask me. But how do we fight against loneliness? We search for company, right? We have friends, we have family, but sometimes we're not comfortable with that, with company. Sometimes we want to be alone, but is it okay to be alone? Like, is company the excuse for us to forget that we're always alone in our lives since we came into this world? Let's talk a bit more about that idea. Are we really alone all the time? You know, I'm here, sitting on my chair, alone, talking to the microphone about loneliness. Maybe you are hearing this alone, sitting somewhere, laying down on your bed, I don't know. But when you come to realize we're always alone, you know? Loneliness is something that's always part of our lives. But is it okay? I really do ask myself, is it okay to be alone all the time? You know, these 2 years of COVID, really haven't been alone. I've been with my family, and it was good, quite good to reconnect. I talked to them, we played a bit, we we get to know each other more. And it was quite pleasant if you ask me. It was quite good to reconnect with my family. Most of the people out there with COVID, when COVID started, I got to reconnect with them, with their families, with their loved ones, right? But then there's the other way of the other face of the coin that showed how people went insane without human interaction for 2 years. Like the only persons they had were themselves. Like you could like video call someone or FaceTime and all that kind of stuff, but it's not the same as interacting with someone in real life. It's not the same, you know. I would got quite affected with that too. When I had my first interaction with someone who wasn't with my family, I'm talking about with my friends. After 2 years, it was quite surreal. Like I remember talking with them in calls and all that stuff, but it's a whole different deal when you're face to face with that person, you know? And well, taking aside COVID, moving aside COVID, uh, you know, loneliness, it's it's still there. As I said, it's something part of our lives. You know, another thing I can talk about from my personal experience, it's the feeling of not fitting with people. It's the feeling of not fitting in, you know? Like you're the black sheep. Like I don't know what other example I can give, but you know what I'm talking about. Like you feel excluded and you really don't try. Yeah, because it's actually trying to fit in. Most of the people like don't talk with others because they're scared of not being accepted as who they are. But sometimes they don't even try it. That's something I recently realized in life. How are you going to be, how are you sure that you're not fitting in if you haven't tried talking with them? Like, think for a second. Like, the next time you say, oh no, I don't want to talk with that group of people because I really don't feel like I can fit in. Like, we don't have much in common. It's like, oh, we're in a different planet. We're in a different page. Sorry, pal, we can't relate right now. But you don't know if you don't fit in, if you don't try it. That, as I said, something I realized recently. As someone who really thought he didn't fit in with the people that he was surrounded by, I realized I really didn't try to, like, not fitting, but to relate with people. I really didn't try to talk with them. I I didn't, sorry. I didn't I didn't try to break that illusion of not fitting in. I didn't get out of my comfort zone. That's the important thing. If you want to talk with people, if you want friends, like if you see that you can't find something in common with someone just by hearing them from afar, like you're not going to go anywhere if you want to have company. So coming back to the main idea, is it okay to be alone? You know, if you feel like you want to be alone, it's okay. But at the same time, being alone for too long, it's not okay for us at all. Because being alone brings a lot of problems, such as isolation. The more you're alone, the more you're isolating yourself from society and people, which it impacts us negatively in such a manner that it can drive us crazy and even to the point of making us commit suicide. So, at the end, it's not bad to search for company. Like, it actually helps. If you ever feel alone, if you ever feel the loneliness coming to you, I really think you should get distracted. Because, you could find a hobby. And in those hobbies, you can find people to have something in common. At the end of the day, I really think that loneliness is not something bad for us. It's not as terrible as we think it is. Yeah, it's often relationship with something sad, as I said, sadness, the empty void we feel sometimes. But at the same time, loneliness is our own space, right? Sometimes we want our own space to be with ourselves, no one else. And, in my case, I really see loneliness as a space to analyze myself, a place where only me, only I can be and see what I'm doing wrong and on what I can improve. But, too much of something, it's quite bad, right? So, at the same time, the lack of company, it's not that good. It's okay to search for company. As I said before, there's different ways to find company, and it's up to you if you want the company and if you want to fight loneliness. Because at the end, I really don't think you should fight it. You should be able to moderate loneliness. Like you get to choose when to be alone and when to don't. Uh, yeah, I think that'd be it. Just remember, it's not bad to be alone, but it is bad being alone for a long time.